Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
All right, welcome, Game Over fans. My name is Anand, your host for Game Over Calgary. It's game number 32 that the Calgary Flames just finished. A loss to the Boston Bruins in overtime, something similar to what we saw or at least a month ago in Boston, but this time in Calgary. And joined along tonight is a guest appearance, Jess Belmosto from the Locked On Flames podcast, and also she was in Calgary recently to take in a couple of games as well. Jess, welcome to Game Over Calgary. Thanks for joining me. How are you this evening?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, pleasure to have you on board. I reached out to you because you were on part of the guest list, and then you accepted the invite to come and talk about the Flames and Bruins. So excited to have you on board, and excited to have everybody on board as well tonight to talk about the Flames as they get defeated by a score of 4-3 in overtime. I thought the Flames had it through the way along, but somehow they lose it in overtime. Let's do a quick overall thought from Jazz first, and then we'll get started by period by segment. But what did you think of this game tonight?
I really liked what we saw up until I would say like the middle of the second period. I thought the Flames absolutely dominated the first, and I thought they were going to run away with it.
Yeah, that's where my exact thoughts too. I had it pinned. I thought will at least the Flames will score one more goal. Maybe
Mhm.
Boston Bruins would pull their goaltender towards the end, and then I was hoping for the streak of possibly the Flames scoring more than three goals in a game as well, and that didn't happen. So the counter continues along. They are now three games without scoring three or more goals at the moment because they lost against Tampa Bay Lightning 8-3. Then they just got the 3 nothing win a couple nights ago against Nashville Predator. No, Florida Panthers. Pardon me. And then now tonight, just. Three goals in regulation time against Boston Bruins, where they lost 4-3. All right, let's get started. We'll do a quick ad read just first, and then we'll get started through the rest of the programming. But check out the flagship show of Game Over Network on the Game Over Network channel, Hyperdrive Hockey. All things hockey, various across various leagues in multiple countries, whatever it is and wherever it is. Max, Delphine, and Kev have you covered for all hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast on the Hyperdrive Hockey page at thegameovernetwork.com. All right, so Jess, we were talking about offline on air where we wanted to segue this period, and I wanted to talk about the most important headline, I guess, where Nikita Zadorov, Elias Lindholm, and Jordan Australia rejoined back in Calgary. Almost all three of their first reunion here in Calgary after being shipped to different teams. But yeah, Elias Lindholm scores a goal for the Boston Bruins. Let's talk about that bit. What did you think of that goal? And Elias Lindholm basically snaps a drought of goalless games in like 11 games or so.
Yeah, I mean, it feels right for it to be him to crack open the scoring for Boston. And I think it gets a pretty big monkey off his back. And he hasn't been playing great for Boston, unfortunately, to start the season. So I'm sure that, that big goal in his former dome, I mean, it's got to feel good.
Yeah, 100% definitely. Always a good back when you, always a feel good moment when you come back to your team home that you have played for so long, and then maybe scoring against an opponent now like in revenge maybe.
Hmm.
It should feel good as a player. All right, we talked about early in the show that the Flames had a quick start. What did you see of that and how they came out of the gates, like pressuring Boston Bruins overall? They had at least couple players hanging around a Boston player as well. They were pressuring, stealing pucks easily. What did you think of that first period?
I thought it was probably one of the best first periods they've had all season. They were all over the ice. I thought that Huberto looked great. Obviously, Matt Coronado scored, but I felt like he was where he needed to be, and we have seen a development in his decision making, quick decision making.
Yeah, 100% definitely. So, um, yeah, quick start for the Calgary Flames, as we mentioned. They came out of the gates, although scoreless in the first period. Nobody scored in the game, but the Calgary Flames had plenty of chances. But Jeremy Swayman and Dustin Wolf, both the goaltender battle to begin. What have you seen from Jeremy Swayman from the Boston side and Dustin Wolf? Two good goaltenders, one of them very experienced veteran and one of them being a rookie. What have you seen from both these goaltenders so far?
I really like Jeremy Swayman. I think that he is someone that is incredibly competitive and he has the skill to back up his I don't want to say arrogance. That's not the right word, but the way that he carries himself. He deserved that contract that he signed this summer, and I think Boston has a really bright future with him in net. And Dustin Wolf finally getting the shot to break into the NHL this year as a starter. That's huge, and we weren't sure how or when that was going to happen, but I am concerned with the amount of physicality around the net involving Dustin Wolf. The first time I really noticed it was the game against Dallas. I feel like there was I believe it was Jamie Benn kind of like tussled his head a little bit, gave him a little pat on the head, and it's like it messed with him. With his focus because right after that he wasn't able to stop any of Dallas's shots.
Yeah, 100%. I think eventually, as a rookie goaltender, you'll start to learning the physicality, but still he's young, only like 23 years old. Hopefully, it's in the men. He'll get coached, he'll get mentored as well. One other thing that I wanted to bring up is the Sportsnet broadcast actually mentioned this, but the Calgary Flames didn't win any faceoffs in the first period, and that has been a concerning factor for most of the season, winning faceoffs and the struggle with that. What have you seen from the Flames about winning faceoffs, and what do you think can be done? Is it improve? Is it like coachable? Do you think it's something that they are work on, or is it something that they just don't have that elite talent right now and they need it in the future?
I think it's a combination of all of that. I mean, obviously, we know they're lacking that true elite 1C or elite talent to take those face offs. And it feels like they just kind of give up before it even starts. But I do think this is something they can work on. We are approaching almost the halfway point of the season. So I would hope that this would be ironed out by now, but I mean, something's got to give and they have to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, face off being really important to transfer that momentum when you need to score a goal or need a goal as well. But yeah, definitely either it's coachable or it's missing that one elite talent, and that's where we'll see what Craig Conroy as a general manager can do with the draft stockpiles. All right, I think we have covered all the points I had. Anything you want to talk about, just what you saw in the first period, anything we missed before we head into the second period?
No, I think we touched on everything there.
Yeah, so we talked about Dustin Wolf being a rookie goaltender versus Swayman. That was the goaltender battle. We talked about Elias Lindholm back in Calgary scoring his first goal and almost breaks a drought of goals as well. even points, and then we talked about face-offs as well. Little concerning for the Flames, but hopefully they can fix in the future. All right, let's head into our second period conversation. Before that, again, I hate to put on another ad read for our viewers, but it's a must I do. But Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page. Also, we are working on a page through LaRouche, a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we are aiming to raise $15,000, and if we hit that goal, we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. So, if you want to join part of this Game Over Calgary group, please do support us if you can. And if you have any ideas of what you would like to see as giveaways or any crowdfunding efforts, let us know in the comments. I see a few chats already. We'll get to that in a moment. But you can also join our Twitter, Instagram, and the Discord server, which is a fun place to hang out as well. So, second period, here we come. Let me just quickly change the marker on the second period. All right. So, this is where uh, things take a twist for a turn, and Calgary Flames respond two quick goals, I should say, one after the other, and then Boston Bruins face to take what do you call forced to take a timeout very early. The goal coming first from Mac Coronato, who has been excellent this season. He has 8 goals this season so far, and then he dangled around Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov must feel bad about that, and then assisted by Backlund and Coleman. So Coronato making the case that Backlund and Coleman should be kept together, that CBC line. And then shortly after, Nazem Kadri, he continues to put like 3 highlight goals together in like 3 games stretch, assisted by Huberdeau and Pospisil. So let's talk about the 2 goals first. What have you noticed from Coronato on that goal and Kadri as well?
Um, Coronado has just been phenomenal since he was recalled. I believe it was early last month. I feel like he has taken the positive strides that everyone knew he was going to take. It was just a matter of if it would be in the AHL or NHL. And I am very glad that it is with the big club. I think that he has a very nice, smooth shot that I feel like the Flames have been missing. They don't necessarily have a sharpshooter, and he kind of takes over and fills that role. Kadri is phenomenal. He has had 4 great games in a row, and that's obviously great. I mean, he is someone that the team really relies on as a veteran and an established, veteran as well. It's not like he's just kind of floating around as like a fourth liner. He's very productive, and it's always great to see him on the score sheet and just finding new ways to score.
All right, yeah, perfect. Well summed up there. Once again, Coronato taking that stride from the AHL. I think all these players, like if you talk about Coronato, if you talk about Jacob Pelche, if you talk about Walker Doher, all those 3 players, when you get a small AHL stint, even Dustin Wolf got that small AHL stints here and there. I think you come out to develop to be a great player, and I think we have seen that consistently from the kids as well. I love the kids this season so far. As long as they're putting the production, it makes it so fun to watch. And you would agree with me, right? Just the kids make it really fun.
100%. It's a great reason to keep watching.
100%. And then, like I said, the Boston Bruins take a quick timeout once the score becomes 2-0. Were you concerned at that point that the game was slipping away from Boston Bruins? What did you think? Or do you think that timeout was necessary and taken at the right time?
I think it was necessary. I mean, I know the Bruins have had quite a an unexpected start to the season, and obviously they had just fired Jim Montgomery, and they they've been trying to get it together. And I think, calling that timeout there was, kind of a okay, let's regroup. We can't let this get any further out of our grip, and it worked.
All right, yeah, and the timeout definitely work. Shortly after, Elias Lindholm, an unassisted, beautiful goal, scores it to make it to claw back into the game, making it 2-1. What did you think of Elias Lindholm's goal, and do you think it will bring confidence for him moving forward in future games?
Yeah, I mean, good for him. I mean, he has had a bit of a slow start to his time in Boston, and I know that's been uh, a point of concern for the fan base there, and I, I do not blame them. So to kind of get that monkey off his back in his against his former team, I think that's great. I think that that's one of the things that he'll use to continue to motivate himself and give him that boost of confidence.
Yeah, 100% wishing him rest of the journey as in Boston Bruins. As always, like I said, if you score against your opponent or being able to be that factor in changing your game, will it be? Maybe that will improve the confidence. I think he would have brought in back the spark for the Boston Bruins to claw back into this game. And David W on the chat, we'll just quickly head to the chat line real quick before I lose track of that. But David saying the timeout worked for the Bruins among NHL and NBA head coaches known for taking timeouts. Darko Rajovic of the Raptors instantly comes to mind. Yeah, definitely. Taking timeout, maybe some fans might question why are you taking a timeout this early, but once again, if you want to just re-inject that spark into a team to change a conversation, to change how you play, might as well be. And this were for the Boston Bruins. 100%, I agree with you, David, right there. But yeah, keep the chat coming. It's still open for everybody. Just a reminder. And then we have Ryan Lomberg, who scores his first goal as a Calgary Flame. Love Ryan Lomberg. What a week he has been having. He has had his third baby on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. He got a Stanley Cup ring when Florida was here in town, and now scores the first goal as a Calgary Flame this season. Your thoughts on Ryan Lomberg and how impactful he has been as a fourth liner for this team?
He, the addition of Ryan Lomberg has really surprised me, in the best way possible. I was really excited for him to come back to Calgary because obviously he does inject that level of physicality into the lineup that the Flames have been missing. And, I feel like there's a balance between his physicality and someone maybe like a Pospisil who plays a little bit closer to the edge. But I think that he's been great. I think that the fourth line has been one of the most fun lines to watch this year, and everyone loves him. He's a great personality.
Yeah, the fourth line has been fun because there has been a rotation of players as well. We had Justin Kirkland Costco, who unfortunately is done for the season because of an ACL injury. He was a fantastic story. Ryan Lomberg continues to be in that fourth line. Kevin Rooney, he's impactful for the penalty killing. And whether who you put or not, the fourth line always has an impactful. Pelche was on the fourth line for a couple of games. He brought that energy. Now it's Walker Doher. He's showing some style to the game as well. So I think that fourth line has solidification. Now we are starting to see Coleman, Backlund, and Coronato line as solidification. I think you're almost gelling up Huberto, Kadri, and Pospisil together as well. That line has been working as well. Now only the that third line, Sharangovich, Zari, and Pelche basing a bit of that also gelling up together soon as well. So I think Flames are close to having a consistent lines, if I were to think. But at the same time, you have these odd games or nights that the line gets blended up. But I think what have you seen from the four lines so far? I think a little bit of consistency we are seeing as we head towards the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, I think that, you really hit the nail on the head with what each individual has brought to that line and why it makes, their them being on that line so important and so impactful. obviously the Flames penalty killing has been an issue this season, but Kevin Rooney does a good job of doing whatever he can. I mean, last week he blocked a shot with his face. He's not afraid to block shots either. So that's always good. And like you mentioned, there has been a rotation. I think that Walker Dewar has been fantastic. One of the first things I noticed about him when he got called up was his speed, and that we know that over the past few seasons, speed has been a concern for the Flames. So it's great to see them continuing to work towards becoming a faster team.
Yeah, 100% I agree. And I think just you were tweeting it out as well earlier during the game that the Flames sounds like they were the fastest of the two teams for the most of the first period and maybe part of the second period as well. And you
Yeah.
were a little concerned about that considering how what do you call we didn't expect the Flames to be at this point at all. We didn't know if they could be a fast team. We didn't know if they had chemistry together. It was all an unknown coming into the season, and we're starting to slowly see that they put in hard work at almost each game. Although a couple of the
Mhm.
games have gone lopsided and little bad, but again, little surprising for the Flames fan base at all how they have gelled up the season. And then in the second period, the faceoffs improve as well a bit. They won 7 out of the 32 faceoffs in total, and then they racked up a little bit more hits as well. Alright, just anything else you wanted to cover for the second period before we segue it into the third?
No, that'll do it.
Alright, so the second period summary once again coming for you. Coronado and Kadri opens the scoring right away, coming out of the gates, and that takes a swing and a turn. Boston Bruins call a sudden timeout as well. They want to replan their plans as well. And then Elias Lindholm gets a goal unassisted. Hopefully that's a confidence booster for him. And then Ryan Lomberg first has a flame as well. What a wonderful week he has had as well. Alright, let's head into third period. But before that, once again, I apologize. I have to do another ad read. But Game Over has you covered after the game. So like we are doing, me and Jess right now. But as well before the game, if you need to watch, you need Game On too. So Game On is our pre-game news coverage. We talk about all the teams, all the Canadian teams, of course, and that's hosted by Graham Moisman currently. But we are planning to have different hosts for each of the markets as well, and that will be Monday through Friday. Game Over Network YouTube channel, and will bring you rapid fire information and any news you need to know. So, for example, one of the recent ones I did was when Justin Kirkland was called up to the Flames club, and then he had his first goal as well, and then he scored in shootout as well. So, kind of that information, if you need to know, you have that there as well. All right, period number three, here we come. And just this one, I wanted to open it to you. If you wanted to talk about anything specific, any topics you wanted to talk about, whether it be from the Boston Bruins side or Calgary Flames side, the floor is yours. You can ask me questions, you can ask the chat questions as well. But this is for you.
Sure. I think really going into the third period, the biggest thing I noticed was there hadn't been a penalty on either side. And I think that obviously helped the momentum of the game and really shows that the Flames are capable of playing a disciplined game, knowing how they've taken 9 penalties in a game before. So it was a nice adjustment.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, very less penalties. There was one questionable penalty though, when it comes to Joel Hanley's. I think the recent rule book change made it
Mhm.
so that it was a penalty. I think the tripping call, not many fans loved it. I saw the social media reaction as well. Would that have been maybe a moment of killer for the Flames? Maybe, maybe not. But then again, shortly before that, Geki and Marchand as well. I forgot to put the
McLaughlin.
yeah, McLaughlin. Yeah, I forgot to put that in my notes. But they tied it as well. So I think already Boston Bruins had momentum there. But again, penalty killing, like you said, in the second period hasn't been a strong suit for the Calgary Flames. So kind of that moment is Swiss, but I don't think they scored it on the power play though. It's later in the overtime that they score. But again, one thing that I also noticed, Jacob Pelche on the penalty kill, he had one beautiful short-handed goal chance that could have led the Flames there on that 4-3 marker like we all wanted. But trusting young guys on the penalty kill, what have you seen? I think we have seen that a bit of trend lately. We have seen Walker Duher on the penalty kill and now Jacob Pelche.
Yeah, I think, it's important to continue to integrate these young guys on the special teams because it's not just 5-on-5. They have to be able to answer to those calls because eventually those spots are going to open up for one reason or another, and they need to be ready to take the call. And I I really like how they have integrated the young guys this season, as well as last year. I think this year is more, there's more of a plan this year.
Yeah, 100%. Always when you see each games, you see there is a plan coming from whether it be Ryan Huska or Craig Conrad. They are making those plans and they have a plan in place as well. And then towards the end of the game, once again, tons of pressure from the Boston Bruins. They ended in 4-3, overtime goal from Pasternak as well. And then, but Wolf had to face a couple of shots towards the end of the third period as well. He was sustaining pressure as well, but he was able to stop it and take it into overtime. What did you think of Wolf or overall? I know we touched it a bit in the first period, but that sustained pressure, constant shots he faced. What did you think of that towards the end of the third period?
Yeah, I think that it speaks to his talent level. He did a great job with all of the traffic in front of him, and he was able to consistently track the puck and obviously successfully stop the puck. So that's all you needed from him, and it wasn't an easy task. And I'm thoroughly impressed with what we're seeing from Dustin Wolf.
Yeah, 100%. I've been impressed so far. He had that one odd game where I think he was fighting a flu or bug as well, and then ever since he has looked great in net as well, and he kept the Flames in tonight's game too as well. I would say, especially if he had let go of one or two of the shots, this game could have ended in regulation time as well.
Absolutely.
All right, I think that's it from my point of view on the third period. Let's head into fourth period and overtime where we take chat questions. But anything you want to add, just when it comes to the third and final period?
No, that's it.
All right, perfect. That's it. Sorry, Jess, I'll have to hide you for a moment because
That's
so that
okay.
we can show our viewers our merch as well. So if you want to take a look at it later when you go through YouTube replay as well, you can do so. But we have some cool merch designed by Brady Chalice that has been released. Let me hide it for a quick second. All right, the QR code is on the screen right now. So for friends or fans, if you want to purchase some, what a better way to support something that you love by rocking it as clothing. Game Over's apparel line has dropped with three unique design, and if you feel nostalgic, you can pull one of a retro skater design. You can get one of our t-shirts as well, right here, or you can get one of our, if I can, hoodies as well. And last but not the least, if you want a warm coffee, we have a mug available as well. And during Christmas and this holidays, we are offering 15% of all winter products, hoodies and beanies as well, and this will be active until December 25th. So if you want to add something to your closet, you can. All right, Jess, well, we welcome you back to the show and on the frame. Let's hit the chat line now. So we'll start. I'll start from the bottom up since we have few questions and I want to get through them. So we'll start with
Sure.
Moose is here. I'm even happy we secured a point. To be honest, 100%. The way Flames played and the resilience back from the Boston Bruins, I think that's much appreciated. Do you agree that we, especially the Flames, secured a point tonight?
Yeah, I think that it's better than walking away with nothing at the end of the day. So I'll take it.
All right. Then we have a question from Moses here again. I have a question for the young lady. Do you believe the Flames can still make the playoffs?
Don't hate me, but no, I don't. I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, I could see that too. Just because we talked about a couple of points in this episode itself. You can go back and rewatch it. We talked about one face off being a concern. We don't win as much as face offs we would like, and I think that can change momentum. Second thing is penalty killing is not as strong as we have had seen, especially with Zadorov and Noah Hanifin, Kristana. When we had them in the team, is it's not as strong. And then third as well, we don't have that one elite C talent as well, the center talent. And I think the fourth thing you could say, maybe this Flames team is inconsistent as well. Some games you play really well, and then I don't know if fifth point really applies to playoffs or not. But one thing I would say, the concern of scoring three or less goals in each of these games. I think that's also one thing. Would you agree with me?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's go through the chats now. So, David W., an ugly game, but in the end, the Flames, whether they win or lose, their December home game against the Bruins will earn a standings point, maybe two. Yeah, I would agree with that. Ty DeLillo from our Winnipeg Game Over says, David, you better be in my Winnipeg Game Over show too after the Jets game two. So the Jets right now, let's do a quick shout out to our Game Over Winnipeg Jets. They are currently playing tied at 2-2 against the San Jose Sharks. So that's Game Over Winnipeg. So go check out them. Let's see what else I talked about. Yeah, we talked about in a rebuilding area. This is very good news. Defense wasn't good, and it showed by a blown lead as well. Yeah, 100%. We talked about sometimes you have defense collapses, but again, winning faceoffs is important. Playing against another good team as well, that's important. So, yeah, what did you think? Do you agree?
I would agree. I think that the defense has been obviously it is not what it was last year or the years prior. So I think it is a bit of an adjustment period for fans because we were kind of spoiled there with, Anderson, Uyghur, Hanifin, Tanev, Zadorov. And then, things change and having two younger, less experienced goaltenders in net can kind of be a disadvantage when you don't have consistent defense. So it's a learning curve. It's an adjustment period.
Yeah, 100% I agree. And I missed the first part of this. So David says, as I wrap up this two-part post game, I give a welcome to Jess Belmosto of Locked on Flames podcast. The Flames certainly were in versus the Bruins and an easy out. Yeah, 100%. Maya Catherine says when they said Matt Stajan was training the Sanders, I realized what the issue was. Lol. Somewhere apparently Matt Stajan is training the Sanders. I don't know if I heard that part or not. I don't know if I have a credible source for that. When it comes to face-offs, it was no contest overall, with the Flames having just won 23 out of 58. We talked about that plenty of times. Of Flames who took at least one face-off, I count only one. Coronato having gone for one, who even won. Yeah, Mac Coronato. Kudos to him. absolute fantastic night for him. So winning that one face off and then as well scoring a goal as well. So kudos to that rookie. We talked about the timeout. Okay, Moose is here says Nazim Kadri forced it goals, baby. We secured a point. Let's go, Flames. Third period, we got cooked. Yeah, 100% we saw that 3-1 had a two goal lead coming into the third period, but then sadly blowing it out. We talked about your question already. Likely not the Flames will see playoffs, but we'll see how it goes. We still have a bit more of chunk, especially the holiday break coming up. We have a couple more games. Moose is here. The Bruins have fallen off a bit this season, but are still very much in the mix for top three Atlantic Division spot, even if they were bit lower than the Leafs or Panthers. Should the Bruins see playoff action this season, I predict they won't go down in the first round series without a fight.
Yeah, I mean, as a Bruins fan, I would love to see them back in the playoffs. The last few years, it's been a disappointing finish, but I think that, down the stretch, they will piece it together and I can't see them as a first round exit, but I think, like they said, they're not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, 100%. And then continuing the playoff talk, but unlike the Flames, the Avs, Oilers, and Canucks have plethora of goal scorers and skill, and Flames strongly lack the level of skill to sustain a playoff run. 100%. Moses here saying you're honest as well about Flames not likely making the playoffs. And then David saying, I don't see the Flames having an easy time qualifying for a playoff spot. If they do, although the Canucks have sucked so much at home, that I see a BC team having 50-50 chance too. And the last comment saying, one may think about the Sharks, or they are bottom feeders, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem beating them. Lol, given a tie game after 40 minutes at the SAP Center. So that's on the Sharks note once I gave a look ahead. Alright, just final thoughts or comments as we wrap up the show this evening. Once again, I want to thank you for hopping on board. This is a pleasure being doing a show with you. But any final thoughts, comments, what you would like to see, or maybe I'll ask a question for you. I'll put you on the spot. If I do, sorry. But any one call up you would see like to see. I know you write about the Wranglers too, but one call up you would like to see come from the Wranglers into the Flames. Maybe not so soon, but maybe in the near future.
I would say Rory Kearns. He's leading the league in scoring and has worked his tail off to get to where he is in his development, and feels like it's time to give him a shot. And not really sure what the holdup is, but
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's just because that, like we talked about earlier, I think that fourth line is solidified
mm,
already. I don't think there is. I know Rory Kerins can play center or I think a right wing as well. But
mm.
I think mainly they might look for a center. But right now, all the four centers are kind of solidified. So it might be a bit more weight. But I think I like that pick of yours, Rory Kerins as well. All right, let's do a quick look ahead where for the Calgary Flames schedule coming up. A bit of and we'll get maybe a couple predictions from you as well, Jazz, on what you think how the results will go. So we have Ottawa Senators coming into town. We already saw them play one time this season. And I think we lost the game 4-3 in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. But Senators coming into town on Thursday, that's December 21st. Conrad Krausert, my other host, will have the post-game show. So let's get a quick prediction from you against Ottawa Senators.
Ooh, I feel like I think the Flames will win. I think, they do seem to have better luck at home, minus tonight, but I think they can beat the Senators.
100%. All right. Let's hope for that. I know the last time we played the Senators, it was ugly, like nine penalties, couple penalties in a row as well. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Then shortly after on Saturday against the Chicago Blackhawks at home as well, Matt Demille will have that post-game show. On the Blackhawks, I think that's going to be an interesting game. We ever had not a great record against the Blackhawks, and we tend to underestimate the easy teams.
Yes.
But your thoughts on the Blackhawks game against the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, I think, you said it, the Flames have had a hard time getting up against bad teams. And um, the Blackhawks, I believe, yeah, they beat the Capitals tonight. Um, I believe it was 4-3 in regulation. So, I mean, they're capable of scoring goals, and they have, a decent amount of veterans and great scoring talent. So it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, 100% challenge indeed. And then a couple more games to close out in December. San Jose Sharks, that one Matt also will have. And then back to back game on a Sunday. Golden Knights are in. I don't know if the. I should have looked that one. I don't know if that's a home game or not. I'll double check later for Flames fans on that, and then we'll send a social media post out as well. But Jess, where can people find you? What do you do? Your work, if you want to maybe do a self plug as well, we don't mind that. But where can Flames fans find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter or X and Blue Sky, just at Just Belmosto. And you can find my podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just have to search up Locked On Flames and have a show out every day, Monday through Friday.
All right, sounds good. Jess, once again, this has been a blast doing with you. We appreciate you jumping on board. Thank you to David W. Moose is here and everybody being a part of the chat. We appreciate it. Have a good night. Happy holidays, Jess.
Thank
If
you.
you celebrate Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year as well. We'll hopefully connect again soon. Until then, happy Go Flames Go and good luck to the Boston Bruins as well.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, that will do it. Thanks for watching Game Over Calgary. This is Anand Unithan and your guest as well, Just Balmosto.